Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today's story is a story from Germany, and it's about how being greedy doesn't get you very far. The story is called The Giant and the Three Golden Hairs, and it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a boy born from a very poor family, but he had what they call in Germany a kohl on his head, which means like a hairnet. You know, the net that women sometimes wear to the shower, a hairnet. If you're born with a hairnet on your head, then only good things will happen to you. So they said the prophecy of this boy was that at his 14th years, he would marry the daughter of the king. Now the king had heard that story too. He didn't like it. He had a bad heart. He was a greedy king. And so he went to that village and he came to that family and he said, "Will you please give me your son? I see you're poor, you don't have enough money to raise him. I'll give him a really good education. I'll take good care of him." And he gave them a big bag of gold. Now the parents didn't want to let go of him, but that bag of gold said, okay, this boy, good things will happen to him anyhow, so why not? So they gave him to the king, and he gave them the gold. Now the king put the boy in a box and threw him in a river in a box, thinking that he had already outdone the prophecy. But the box did not drown. It floated down the river. Not even a drop of water got into it. And a miller's boy picked it up out of the river and brought it to the Miller family. And they opened it and they saw this beautiful little child in it. And because they had no children, they were very happy to say, this is a gift to us. And so they raised him as their own. Now, as fortune will have it, many, many years later, the king sheltered from rain at this miller's place, and he saw the tall boy that was living there, and he asked him about him, and he said, "Is that your son?" And the miller said, "Well, no, he's a foundling. He's somebody who we found, and 14 years ago, and he was in a box, and we would take care of him." So the king knew that that was his own son. And or the boy, not his own son, the boy that he was actually after. So he says, "Well, can this boy take a letter to the queen?" And they said, "Yes, of course, anything, Your Majesty." So the king wrote a letter to the queen and said, "Queen, when you find this boy who brings this letter, please put him to death and bury him, and I'll do it before I come back." Now the boy was, of course, ready, took the letter to the queen. But he got lost on the way. He got lost in a forest. And finally, after wandering around, he found a house with a little light. And so he went down, he knocked on the door, and he says, "I'm just so tired. Can I please spend the night here? I need to bring this letter to the queen." And the lady who was there says, "Well, that's not good luck. You came to a robber's nest. If they find you here, they will kill you." And he said, "Oh, I'm not afraid of robbers. Just let me sleep here." So he lay down and fell asleep. And then when the robbers came home and they saw this boy laying there, they said, "What is he doing here?" And the lady said, "Just let him be. He's just a poor boy. He's supposed to bring this letter to the queen." And I felt sorry for him, so I let him spend the night. Now the head of the robbers took the letter that was there to send to the queen, and he read it. And somehow even this hard-hearted robber took pity on the boy. And he tore up that letter and he wrote another letter. And the other letter said, to my queen, please make sure that the bearer of this letter, the boy who brings this letter, marries our daughter, and it'll be all done before I get back. Put that letter in. The boy wakes up the next day and just brings the letter to the queen. Queen reads the letter and does as she thought her husband asked her to do, and married this boy to the daughter. And the daughter actually liked the boy. He's a cute little, not tall lad, and she liked him, so they got married. And then the king came home and he saw that the prophecy basically had been gone as it was meant to be. And he said, well, you cannot have things your way always that easily. The one who marries my daughter has to bring me 3 golden hairs of the devil. And the boy said, okay, no problem. I'm happy to do that. He says, if you bring those back, then you can keep my daughter. All right, so the boy sets off, comes to a village, a town actually, and the gatekeeper in the town says, what's your business? And he says, oh, I just want to spend tonight if I can. And the man says, that's fine, but we have a problem in this village, and there used to be a well in the center of the village that wine flowed from it all the time, and now it's totally dry. We don't know why. Well, says the boy, I know everything. I'll give you your answer on my way back. He travels on, comes to another village, and again the gatekeeper has a similar request. I said, in our village there's a tree that used to give golden apples, but it stopped doing that, and we do not know why. And the boy repeated his sentences, I know everything, don't worry about it, I'll give you your answer when I come back. He comes through to a wide river, and he crosses the river with the help of a boatman. And the boatman puts him, across and says, I've just been put here, I do not know why I just keep having to ferry all of this. What is this? Please find out why. And he says, I'll give you your answer when I come back. So he goes to the other side of the river, and then not far from there is the den of the devil. Very dark, very black, and he goes in there. He's not afraid of anything. He goes in there and he finds the grandmother. And the grandmother says, what is your business, boy? And he finds that the grandmother is not that mean, really. And he says, well, I have just come for 3 golden hairs of the devil's head. And the grandmother says, well, if he finds you here, he'll kill you, and that's the end of you. But I'll help you. And he says, well, and I also have these 3 questions that I would like answered. And so he told her about those questions. And she said, okay, I'm going to change you into an ant, and you'll hide in the folds of my clothing, and you'll be safe. So the boy, that happened, became an ant, sat in the clothing of the grandmother of the devil. The devil comes home and says, this doesn't smell good here. I smell some sort of human. And then the grandmother says, you always have human stuff in your nose. I just cleaned up the place. Come and eat and have your supper. The devil has his supper and then lays his head in the grandmother's lap and asks her to take some lice out of his hair. So pretty soon he is sleeping, and the grandmother pulls out one of his golden hairs. And he says, ouch, what are you doing? And he says, don't be upset, I just had a bad dream. So what did you dream? Well, I dreamt about this well in this place that was, it's just not giving water anymore, and they don't know why. And the devil says, if they only knew why. There's just a toad under the stone there. If they get rid of the toad, then the wine will flow again. And so he falls asleep again in the lap of the grandmother. And again, she pulls the second hair out of the devil's head. And he says, what is this? And he says, sorry, I just had a bad dream. What's the dream this time? Oh, I dreamt that there was a town. They used to have a tree with golden apples, and now it doesn't give apples, and they don't know where. I dreamt that. Ah, said the devil, if they only knew. There is a mouse there gnawing at the root of the tree. If they get rid of the mouse, they catch that mouse, then the tree will bear apples again. But if they don't, it'll wither very soon if they don't do it quickly. Again, he goes to sleep. And he says, don't pull any hair of me this time. Getting pretty upset. And so he falls asleep. And again, a third time, she pulls her hair out. And he wakes up and he says, what is it? I am really fed up. And he gets up. And he says, I'm going to whack you. And she says, please, quiet down. I'm just having bad dreams. I can't help that, can I? And so he said, all right, well, this is it. What did you dream this time? And so she told him the dream about a river and a guy who just cannot keep stopping to ferry people to and fro. And the devil says, it's so easy. All he has to do is give the oar, the oar with which you ferry to the person who asked them to ferry him across. And then that person will have to take it on. Easy. Anyhow, the grandmother left him alone. He sleeps the whole night through and he goes off in the morning. In the morning, the grandmother turned the ant into our boy again, who has heard all the answers, and she just sends him off. He comes to the river with the man, the oat, and he says, it's easy, just give the oar to the next person that comes and asks you across. He said that only after the man had already ferried him across. So he comes to the other side of the river, comes to the village, and there again he told the answer. So just the golden tree apple. He says, just find a mouse. That's all you need to do. And then they were so grateful, they gave him 2 donkeys full of gold. And the last village he also came and he delivered the message. They also were so grateful. They gave him another donkeys with gold. So finally he comes home, and his wife is very happy to find him back, and he goes to the king and he gives the golden hairs to the king, and the king is very pleased, and he says, okay, now you can keep my daughter. And by the way, I see also you found a lot of gold. Where did you find that gold? Remember, this king is very greedy. And he says, oh, there's loads of it, just on the other side of that big river. There's a man there. You just have to ask him to bring you across. So the king sets off to find more gold. And then he comes to that river, and just before they come to the other side, that man who was in the boat gives the oar to the king, the tool to ferry away, and jumps out. And as far as I know, the king is still ferrying to and fro, and he's paying off for all the evil things that he did in his life. Thank you.